G'day everyone, welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark. If you're new here, my name is Mark. I'm a retired Kiwi bloke who loves rugby and I'm living in beautiful Cancun in Mexico. Now, just before I get going, a shout out to everyone who's navigating through hurricane season at the moment. So all my friends across the Caribbean, the West and the East Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, all the way up to the southern United States, including Florida, of course, and across there in Asia, from the Philippines, Hong Kong, all the way up to Japan. Of course, our Japanese friends had a typhoon recently, so I hope you're all well. Bunker down, we've only got a couple of months to go, and we're through another hurricane season. Okay, let's get into today's video. I'm going to be talking about Australia-Argentina in this video. Their second game in their mini-series taking place this weekend in Argentina after Australia won that first game in a nail-biter in the last minute by 20 points to 19. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back to the channel, and a special holler out to all my Argentinian viewers and Australian viewers. It's going to be another cracker game down there in South America this weekend, and I will be watching for sure. And I hope that a lot of other rugby fans get in to watch this game as well, because these two teams are going at it at the moment. Very close, nothing to choose between the two of them. And after that game last weekend in those terrible conditions in La Plata, I hope that the two teams get a better run this weekend as far as the weather goes anyway. So let's have a look at what's going on. And Australia, well, a lot of people say they were lucky to win that game last weekend. I don't. I'm not sitting on that fence. I think they played very well in that last 5 minutes to control the game. They gave themselves the opportunity to go down to the other end of the field and win it. They were camped in their own 22 and they were able to do it. So well done to the Australians, and I'm sure that win gave them a lot of self-belief, and it's good to get a win under the belt no matter how that win comes about. And I think Joe Schmidt and the team would have got a lot of motivation for that. So well done to Australia. Argentina would have been a little bit unlucky with that loss last weekend. They played pretty well throughout that game, but again, Australia did what they needed to do in that last couple of minutes to get the win. So what's going to happen this weekend, and how do I see these two teams? Well, first of all, there's been a couple of significant changes in both teams, and it just so happens that it's both in the number 10 position. So for Australia, we're first of all not going to see Noah Loisio this weekend. We're going to see Ben Donaldson in at number 10. And he ended the game for Australia last weekend. And I think this is a significant move by Joe Schmidt. He really wants to consolidate this number 10 position. He wants to see what these two guys have got. And we're going to see a little bit of rotation, I think, throughout the rest of the Rugby Championship in this position. So watch out for Ben Donaldson at number 10. This playmaking position, of course, is one of the key positions in any rugby team. And it's going to be interesting to see how Donaldson goes, particularly with his kicking strategy, because he's been somebody in the past that has a little bit of a problem with kicks in general play. So let's see how he goes this weekend. Of course, a lot of it's going to come down to the conditions. So once again, I hope it's going to be a fast, dry track for these two teams to go out at each other. Now on the other side, in the Argentinian team, we have Albanos, who's starting the game at number 10. That means Santiago Carreras is on the bench for the Argentinian Los Pumas in this game. And again, this is going to be a significant factor, I think, for Argentina. I think Santiago Carreras has been playing very well of late. He's had some very, very good games. Didn't have quite such a good game against the All Blacks at Eden Park in their second game against the All Blacks. But in that first game, he played very well. And I also thought he did quite well last weekend until he was taken off and replaced by Albanos. So Albanos comes in at 10 for Argentina. And I think that's going to be a real battle. And of course, the other thing to watch out for in this game between Argentina and Australia is going to be the forwards. And I saw the real competition in the forwards last week. Australia were on parity with Argentina, I thought. And they had some really good players. Tizano is really impressing me at the moment from Australia. Harry Wilson at number 8 is doing some really good stuff. And Nick Frost in there at lock is getting a lot of good line-out ball. The front row for Australia is doing really well. We've got Angus Bell in there. We've got Taniela Tupou in there. And of course, James Slipper comes off the bench as well. So there's some really good stuff going on in the Aussie forwards. And watch out for them to have another big game. Of course, Rob Valentini at number 6, he's going to be a big one for Australia. So I think this Australian team is building some momentum, as Joe Schmidt's been saying, step by step, game by game. He wants to see improvements. I thought we saw that last weekend, even though the conditions didn't allow for any good open play for the Aussies. But when they did try to control the game in that last few minutes, they were successful. And that showed a lot of patience and maturity, so I take my hats off to them. For Argentina, we're going to have to see big games from Marcos Kremer, Martin Gonzalez at number 8, and also Pablo Matera. The breakdown, the Lucy battle is going to be very, very big in this game, because it does give the backs an opportunity to get the ball and start using the ball out wide. So look for the two Lucy teams to go at each other in this game. I think that's going to be a really good battle, as is the locks as well. And Argentina have got Lavanini in there again this weekend, so that's going to be a big play for him against Nick Frost. So who's going to win this game between Argentina and Australia? Well, to be honest, I've got no idea. and to be honest, I want both teams to have a win. So if it was a 30-all draw, I'd be a happy man, because I want to see Australia continue their rise back to the top of world rugby, and I want Joe Schmidt to be successful with this Australian team. And I think they've got a really good bunch of players that are going to make a difference as they get more and more experience. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this Australian team can do again tomorrow. I also want Argentina to do well. I really love this Argentinian team. I want them to push on and become more consistent at beating the best teams in the world. I want to see if they can break into that top 5 in the world rankings, and not only be consistent at Rugby World Cups and getting through to the semi-finals, but putting pressure on the top teams in competition like the Rugby Championship and also their end-of-year tour. So that's one of the things that I want to see from this Argentina team. And I also want Felipe Contepomi to be successful as a coach. I think he's a really good guy. I think he's got a lot of good things going with this Argentinian team, but we need to see their consistency coming on, and I think that's probably one of the big things that's lacking at the moment from Argentina. Now, both teams have got firepower out wide to be able to score tries. Australia, of course, with Cora Betty and Callaway and players like that, and Ikitau's playing really well in the centres. Of course, Argentina have got Choco Barris and Sinti, and they've also got some speedsters on the wing as well, and Mali at fullback. So there's no doubt about it that both teams have got the weapons to be able to score points. It could be a high-scoring game if we get a dry track, so watch out for that again. Let me know in the comments what way you think this one's going to go. Are you going to sit on the fence like me and hope for a draw because you want both teams to win? Or do you have a favourite team that you want to see get across the finish line? Now, I hope we all get to see more people watching this game. There was an incredible statistic last weekend that 40 times more people watched the Springboks play the All Blacks. As rugby fans, we've got to get behind all these teams. We've got to help Australia get back to the top of world rugby, and we've got to keep Argentina on their trajectory as well in terms of getting better and better. The more teams we see competing for the Rugby World Cup in Australia in 2027, the better it is for the game. And that's my absolute focus here on this channel, is trying to promote the game across all countries across the world. So there we go. There's my thoughts around the game between Argentina and Australia. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you again really soon here on Inside Rugby with Mark. Don't forget, I'll be back after both of these games with a full detailed analysis of how the game went, the players that stood out for me, as well as some of the strategies that worked, and whether or not the coaches got it right or not. I'll see you all again very soon here with Inside Rugby with Mark. Until then, it's time to say adios from beautiful Cancun in Mexico. Bye for now, everyone.